Hello, and I am Deborah Maclaren from Love Reading for Kids, and I am delighted today to be joined, firstly, by two of our brilliant reading ambassadors, Arin and Timmy at Christchurch School. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Nice to see you. And we are here today to chat to Bex Hogan about her brand new children's book. It's the start of a series, and we meet a brilliant, new, unforgettable hero that we're all really in love with. Bronte Tempestra and the Lightning Steeds is out on the 1st of February. It's illustrated, it's written by Bex, of course. It's illustrated by Hannah McCaffery, and it's published by Piccadilly Press. But before we chat to Bex, let me tell you a little bit more about her. She's a Cornish girl at heart, and she now lives in Cambridgeshire with her husband, two beautiful daughters, and her fluffy cocker spaniel. Oh, sounds cute. We need to talk about that later. Author of a young adult Isles of Storm and Sorrow trilogy, and most recently Black Heat. Bronte Tempestra is her debut young fiction series, and we cannot be delighted enough that she's been created. And as I said, we can't wait to read more. Bex, welcome to this event. It's lovely.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Arin and Timmy absolutely adored the book, and I know they've prepared some really brilliant questions for you. So I am going to hand over to them now, and they can have a little chat. Over to you.
We love the land of Everdell you've created in this book. How do you describe the book to people you meet?
Well, thank you so much. I'm really glad that you loved it. That's great to hear. So Bronte Tempestra and the Lightning Steeds is the first in a new 4-book series. It follows the adventures of Bronte, who is a princess from the Storm Kingdom. She considers herself a bit of a pointless princess because she has 6 older brothers, so the chances of her being a ruler are very slim, but she doesn't mind because all she's ever wanted to be is a knight. She dreams of heroics and chivalry and honour, but the Sir Sebastian School for Squires has only ever taken boys until now. They've decided that they're going to open their doors to all children. And so she sets off on her first adventure, dreaming of all the things she can do, only to get there and discover that the knights don't actually care too much about doing anything. They only care about tournaments and looking good on the cover of magazines and just really about themselves. So when things start to go wrong and thunder trolls start rampaging towards the school and there's zombified woodland animals terrorizing the forest, she realizes it's going to be up to her if anyone's going to save the day. Along the way, she meets fire cats and battle boars and bare-bottom gnomes and a pompous griffin lord and zombits, as well as making new friends in unexpected places. It is a funny and feisty adventure story about finding your place and believing in yourself, and it's perfect for people sort of 7+.
4 books, guys. 4! I didn't know that. That's super exciting. Brilliant, brilliant.
My favourite character in the book is Bronte. She's so brave and fearless. Have you got a favourite?
I'm glad you like Bronte, because I love Bronte too. And she is brave and fearless, which is very much the kind of person I would have liked to have been when I was a kid. Trying to pick a favourite is like asking me to pick a favourite child. So I'm going to totally cheat my way through this answer and say that I love Tonkins, because while Bronte is the kind of person I would love to have been, Tonkins is much more the kind of person I am. I would definitely choose the safety of a nice warm room and a piece of cake over a scary adventure where terrible, dangerous things are going to happen. But I also really love Lord Errol because he's just so full of himself. And he's really pompous, but he's also really kind. And I really love the dynamic of him and Tonkins, where they both think the other is a big chatterbox when actually they're just really basically the same. But as you've asked me for a favourite, so I see I've cheated, I've just said loads. I'm going to pick Sir Ripple, Sir Roland Ripple, teacher extraordinaire. He's a terrible teacher. But he is the most fun to write because he's so silly. And he shouldn't be a teacher. He doesn't care about educating children. He just cares about showing off and showing them how amazing he is and hoping he'll have a few more fans for his fan club. But he's very funny. And from a writing point of view, he's my favourite. So I reserve the right to change my mind on any other day. But for today, I'm going to pick Sir Ripple as my favourite character.
Lord Errol made me laugh so much because every time he spoke, I could hear his really, really pompous, posh voice in my ear. I could really hear him talking, and I thought he was brilliant. He was absolutely... Okay, who's next?
Have you got a favourite beast? I want a fire cat.
Who wouldn't want a fire cat? I mean, a cute, cuddly, gorgeous creature that stands by your side all the time and protects you. Yeah, I think everyone should have a fire cat. It should just be the law. But my favourite, now I'm not saying that I would want one of these. Like having a fire cat's one thing. My favourite is the Zombit.
Oh.
I love the Zombits. They have such a chaotic energy. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want one. You wouldn't want to meet one. They would bite your hand off. They would chase you. They'd try and eat you. That's no good. No one wants that. But I blame Hannah because her illustration of the Zombit on the cover, I don't know if you can see.
It looks so funny.
I know, right?
It's like he's mad.
Yes, it's got this chaotic energy, as I said. So I love the Zombits. So not to have one, but it is my favourite. Although I would quite like to have a ride on a battle boar too. I think that could be quite fun. Maybe not Pig, the pigling, because he's like a naughty Shetland pony who's just going to do his own thing and throw you off. But it would be fun maybe to ride one of them.
Definitely. Arin.
Why did you want to become an author?
Oh, that is such a good question. So honestly, it's not something that I always thought when I was a kid, oh, I'm going to be an author, I want to be an author. Because honestly, I didn't think people like me could become an author. So as a kid, I wasn't a hugely big reader. I struggled reading quite a lot when I was a kid. I was quite reluctant. I think it wasn't so much that I was reluctant, it's just I struggled to find the book that really enthused me. And I think it's okay. I think a lot of kids feel like if they don't love reading, like read loads and then they're not really readers. But anyone's a reader if you just got to find the right book. So once I finally found some books that I liked, mostly fantasy, but also a lot of horse books, a big horse book reader, then, even then it wouldn't have been something like, oh, I'm going to be an author. But looking back, one thing I always did do was I was always creating stories. So whether that was through play, so maybe playing on my own, or playing with toys, or playing with friends, or playing in the garden, or at school in the playground, I was always creating stories. Didn't write them down much when I was younger, because I didn't really think about doing that, but always creating. And then as I got older, I did start to write things down, and I realised how much I really enjoyed it, and how there was just always so much in my head. There was always these stories, and I had to get them out. And then again, as I got older and I got a little bit more confident, I realised, well, if I'm writing these stories down, I may as well see if maybe somebody else would like to read them. And I got very lucky. I mean, it was a long, hard journey trying to get published. But, now that I have become an author, and you do realise, gosh, it really is a dream job. It is something that I have always wanted to do. I just never thought that I could. And which I think is really important for you young people to be like, you can do this. Anything you can do, put your mind to it. And you need to work hard, and it takes time, but here I am now. So I think the reason I wanted to be an author, the reason I am an author, is because I have stories that I want to share with people, and I'm very privileged and honoured that I am able to, and then have people like you read my stories.
So glad that you did. We're so glad that you did. It's brilliant. What a great story. Who's next?
We think you need to be a bit of an adrenaline junkie to live in this world with speed slugs, lightning speed sticks, battle balls, storm skiing, wind wings, and gore at once. Where do you get your ideas from?
You're right, actually. And listening to that, you might think that I am an adrenaline junkie. I am not. All those things sound terrifying to me. They sound fun, but terrifying. So getting my ideas, I think most writers would agree that our ideas kind of come from anywhere and everywhere, and you never quite know where they're going to spark from. The idea for the whole of this series actually came from somebody just making some offhand comment one day about going to night school, as in school in the evening. And all I heard was night school with a K, and thought, I need to write a book about people going to night school. And then that just kind of, tumbled into a story. And I think the thing with writing, especially fantasy, when you're trying to come up with ideas for it, is never stick with your first idea that comes into your head. So, you might think knights, dragons. Oh, how can I push that? How can I go further? And kind of always keep questioning, and how can I make that a bit more interesting or a bit more unique, or something that hasn't been done before? So I think for ideas, it's always, so for like speed slugs, for example, I was thinking, right, she's got to journey from here to here with her carriage. Obviously horses is maybe like your first instinct per carriage, but that seems very our world. What could this world have? And then the idea of, well, slugs are like really slow. That doesn't seem like something, but what if you made them fast? That could be really fun. And then you kind of get an idea in your head and you think, yeah, go with that. And then all the sort of the sports and all the other things was very much about wanting to make a world that was fun and exciting, and things that young people who aren't old and scared like me might want to do. So I filled it full of things that in an ideal world where I wasn't a big scaredy cat, I would want to do.
We want to go at them all. We do. Brilliant.
This book is about friendship. The other children were unkind to Bronte when she joined the school because she was different. Was that one of the themes you wanted to talk about?
Definitely. So when I was a kid at primary school, I moved schools between year 5 and 6. And it was something that I found really, really difficult. It's really scary starting somewhere new. It's really scary making new friends, especially if you're like me. I'm quite a shy person, especially when I was younger. And people have already got their friendship groups and you're coming in, and it is really scary. And I think that all kids probably can relate to that in some form or another, even if they haven't moved schools. But just, I think at one time or another, we've all maybe felt like we don't quite fit in, or we maybe struggled with friendships here or there for whatever reason. And I think as we grow up, I think we all often feel a little bit different. Am I normal? Which is such a, kind of strange concept really as you get older, because you realize we're all unique and special, and that's wonderful. So I wanted to put something in there that I felt all kids could probably relate to, and then maybe hopefully they could realize, it's okay. It's okay to feel this way. We probably all feel this way at some point, and it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that's just growing up, and actually maybe the people who are being unkind, maybe they're the ones with the problem, and that actually you're okay. So yeah, it was something I wanted to touch on because it was something that I had experienced, and also I felt like I've seen it in other kids in other ways as well.
We were very pleased that she found Tompkins, weren't we, guys? We were very pleased that she found Tompkins.
He's my favourite character.
Is he? Oh, fab. I love Tompkins.
He reminds me of me being quite funny and chatterbox.
Your question, Timmy.
My mummy's an illustrator, and I love the illustrations in the book. How do you work with Hannah, and is everything as you imagined?
Well, your mummy must be very clever. I have so much admiration for illustrators, and I so wish that I could draw. I mean, honestly, you never want to see me draw. They're so bad. I have sent poor Hannah some terrible pencil drawings that she's transformed into amazing things. So in terms of working with her, so I don't work directly with her. It's all taken care of by the amazing design team at the publishers. So it's all organised by people who are much more knowledgeable and experienced than me about this kind of thing, because I would just be like, yeah, that's great, because it'll be great. And they work on it to make sure that they've got exactly what they want for the book. They have like the big picture of everything. And I get fed back stuff, so I can give feedback and then get seen things, and I can make suggestions of what I'm thinking. But Hannah has completely exceeded all my expectations. I mean, she's taken some things that have been in my head and made them real, and I don't know how she does that. That's like magic. It's pure magic. And I've already seen some pictures for book 2.
Oh, I love it. I just think the illustrations, right from, you know, the map of Everdale.
Yeah, oh, the
image
map's amazing.
is just amazing, isn't it? And then,
yeah,
which I kept actually looking back to, and you know, the map of Sir Sebastian's, and I kept like referring back to it. I don't know whether you did it, Arin and Timmy, but I kept referring back to it. You know, when we knew where Tompkins was from, I was like, oh, where's that? Where is that? You know, the Floral Kingdom. Where's that? You know, compared to everywhere else. And
the maps are examples of terrible drawings that I sent to Hannah. So this is roughly where things are.
They're brilliant. They're just really, she really brings Bronte to life, doesn't
She's
she?
absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Fab.
The land of Everdale also looks like a long parson. Isn't it?
Do you think? Let's have a look.
Have a look. I hadn't seen that before, but now that's all I'm going to be able to see, isn't it?
I think it looks a bit like a turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks a bit like a living thing. It was like a very long or badly drawn person.
It's a bit like a flower, but I think you're both more accurate, actually.
Love it.
Love it.
Have you got any tips for any children who would like to be an author when they grow up?
Okay, well, like I said before, when I was talking about my own journey, I would say that if it's something that you want to do, set your sights on it and go for it. Top tips for when you're a kid is keep stretching that imagination as much as you can. So it doesn't have to always be with writing, as I said before. It can be through play, it can be even through things like video games as well, things like Minecraft. You can be creating worlds, anything that just keeps your imagination flowing. I think reading books obviously is a great tip, and as I said, I struggled with that as a kid, but I still think it's important to get to the library and try things outside the classroom. You don't have to finish books, so if you start something and it's not making you excited or happy, you can put that down. That's fine, until you find books that really inspire you, and that's okay. As authors know that not everyone's going to love every book. That's okay. So you find the book that really excites you, and then as you read things, and it will help you just get an idea of structure of story, and it kind of all seeps in. You're not even like consciously thinking about it. Write your little short stories. Don't think like you've got to write a whole book. Just keep practicing writing, but have fun with it. Write anything that you enjoy. Don't feel like you've got to do something like this or something like that. Outside the classroom, there are no rules. So just have fun with it and experiment and just keep going.
That's great advice. That's really great advice, Bex. Brilliant. Shall we take this opportunity, Bex, for you to give us a little reading from the book?
Of course, yes. So the passage that I've chosen to read today is from a little way into the book. So Bronte is already at Sir Sebastian's and attempting to settle in as best she can. This scene is during her first weapons class, which is being led by Sir Ripple, the teacher I spoke about before, who is not the best, and Lady Fennel. And it starts with Sir Ripple just welcoming the children to their class. Good day to you, young squires. You will be delighted to hear I have yet another wonderful challenge for you today. As you undoubtedly know, Knights Weekly named me #1 in their Giants of the Gauntlet feature. They marvelled at the grace of Sir R, and today I am willing to share my tips and tricks with you. Well, some of them at least. Don't want to give everything away. But together we'll learn a bend here, a leap there, cheating even death itself. If Sir Double R doesn't stop talking, there won't be time for everyone to have a turn, Lady Fennel said dryly. Sir Ripple looked mildly put out, but recovered quickly. May I present to you my gauntlet run? And he pulled a cord on the curtain behind him, revealing an alarming obstacle course on a wooden platform. With a gleeful grin, he pushed a big lever that turned a set of cogs, and the obstacle started to move, fast and furiously. Bronte's eyes widened in horror. Oh, great, she thought to herself. Today's the day I die. At that moment, Sir Caliphus appeared at the door. Lady Fennel, a word? Of course, she said, before looking sternly at Sir Ripple. Don't start without me, understood? She left without waiting for a reply, but clearly Sir Ripple wasn't listening. Right, everyone, watch carefully, he said. He climbed the steps and cracked his knuckles. I shall show you how to stay alive. With a narrowing of his eyes, he sprinted towards the first obstacle, a swinging mace. Timing it perfectly, he dashed past without getting thwacked aside. He struck a dramatic pose before rolling underneath a clump of hanging spearheads, their points gleaming cruelly. Next up, a row of 3 axe heads swinging haphazardly. Sir Ripple spun and twisted through the gaps with ease like a ballet dancer. Then he leaped onto the hanging rope above a carpet of blades and swung until he had enough momentum to land cat-like beyond them. Pausing only to flash the students a wide grin, he ran past the final obstacle of twin war hammers, which were bashing inwards so that if he wasn't fast enough, he'd be squished flat. But once again, Sir Ripple made it through unharmed, leaping off the stage and taking a bow to the students' begrudging applause. Nothing to it, he declared, as if he hadn't just done the scariest thing Bronte had ever seen. Right, who wants to go first? He was kidding, right? Nobody? Sir Ripple sounded disappointed. Ladies first, Lance said, giving Bronte an evil smile. Bronte flashed Lance a vicious look. Ah, yes, Tempestra, come on up. Bronte looked frantically at Tonkins, who seemed as panicked as she was. Sir, did Lady Fennel say we should wait? Tonkins tried desperately to help his friend. Tish tosh, Sir Ripple boomed. Fear not, Tempestra, you know what to do, he said. Excuse me? Bronte said, confused. Well, you saw me do it. Copy what I did. That was it. He wanted her to face this lethal death run with no more instruction than that. Sir, I really think. But Bronte was interrupted by Sir Ripple's determined shove. Timing is everything. Now, go, he shouted. The world disappeared around Bronte. There was nothing but the terrifying ball of death hurtling back and forth in front of her. She had to pull herself together. Feet firm, head high, be brave. All right.
I love that scene. I really, really love it. Great. And that's perfect timing for your next question, Timmy.
It's really funny, especially the bare bottom nose. And Kelly Cuss about be my new favourite saying. Is it hard to write a funny story?
It is actually. I'll be honest with you, for a really long time, I didn't think I could write funny because I'm not a comedian. I'm the kind of person that if somebody says something, my response will pop into my head about like a day later and I think, oh, I should have said that. That would have been really funny. So no, I didn't really consider funny stories. But then when I started writing Bronte, it was during COVID lockdown period. So it was quite a gloomy time. And I was working on a book for older people that was quite gloomy too and quite sad. And I needed to write something light, something that made me laugh. And then this little night school idea popped into my head. And so when I was writing it, I wasn't worrying about what other people might find funny. I wasn't worried, is this funny? I wrote for myself. I wrote for my own silly sense of humour. And it didn't matter at that point if anybody else found it funny because I was laughing. I was making myself chuckle like a silly fool, sitting here in a way, having a giggle. And then later on, it was kind of a case of, well, maybe somebody else will find this funny too if I found it funny. So I think like everything else, it's not trying to be something else that you're not. It's not trying to write Like other people can probably write really like laugh out loud funny stuff, and that's brilliant, and that's a skill they've got that I don't. But I just kind of wrote my own funny, and hopefully some other people will share my own stingy sense of humour.
I loved it. I was just chuckling all the way through. And I agree, curly custard and green gravy. Green gravy. Just love it. And what was the other one? Blue bananas. Blue bananas. Blue bananas.
And oh, feathers. I like that one too.
It's great. Super funny. Arin.
Have you got a favourite author or book you have read?
Oh, I don't think I could pick a favourite of anything. I'm too indecisive, but I can tell you some things I've loved. So as a kid, one thing that hugely influential on me and I adored was the original Grimm's fairy tales. That's what my mum used to read to me as a bedtime story. We didn't have the sanitized version in my house. It was the full gore, but I loved them. And then I enjoyed really things like, I don't know if you guys have heard of like Gobelino, the Witch's Cat by Ursula Moray Williams, which I loved. And as I said to you before, I was the kind of kid that read books over and over and over again. I loved horse books, the Ginny books, the Saddle Club books, anything horsey. Now, if I had to pick some authors that I'm really enjoying reading now, I really enjoyed The Diary of an Accidental Witch by Perdita and Anna Cargill recently. And I'm a huge Laura Ellen Anderson fan. I adore Amelia Fang books and Rainbow Grey, and I'm looking forward to her new one as well, which I think is called Marnie Midnight.
I've got it here somewhere, yeah.
Oh, do you? Oh, how exciting.
Marnie Midnight and the Moon Mystery.
I mean, how good does that look? I'm really looking forward to that.
I love her books as well. Super great.
They're amazing.
The illustrations are gorgeous, aren't they?
Yeah, I've loved reading those with my daughter over the last few years. We've had a lot of fun together.
Oh, lovely. That's amazing.
We know this is the start of a brand new series. Can you share any details of Bronte's next quest, Bronte Tempestra and the Ice Warriors?
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but I think it will be safe to say that it is set at the end of Bronte's first term. So book one is the start of the year, and then this is like kind of like her Christmas equivalent, kind of a winter break. And as the title suggests, she might be up against some frosty foes. There are some new characters, some really fun new characters coming into this book, as well as some of the familiar faces you met in book one. And I think it's safe to say that there will be another quest for Bronte to be sinking her teeth into. But I probably shouldn't say anything more than that, I might get in trouble.
Can you tell us when it's out?
I think it's August.
Oh, not long to wait then, guys.
Not long, yeah. Although I could be wrong, so don't quote me.
Oh, listen, curly custard. We've run out of time. We've got to the end of our questions. Bex, thank you so much. Have you got anything to say, Arin and Timmy?
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Amazing questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for spending this morning with us. Great work, Arin and Timmy. Well done. It's been a pleasure, and I'm glad you enjoyed the book as much as I did. And that's it for now. So all I can say is please do go and buy Bronte Tempestra and the Lightening Steeds. It's out on the 1st of February. It's absolutely brilliant story, and we are in love with Bronte and her madcap adventures at Sir Sebastian's. Thank you so much for joining us, Bex.
Thank you.